drugs. They're no good. They are no good for you at all. I can easily just tell you that. But no, for some reason, in the 80s and 90s, everyone was really anti-drug. There were PSAs everywhere, where people such as Mr. T, Pee Wee Herman got on the action, and there were episodes of popular TV shows about it. There were commercials of it. They always saying, "Don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs," and they always try to scare you out of it. Like, by far the best PSA about drugs you've ever heard has got to be that Family Guy episode where Peter goes undercover as a teenager to get people off a fake drug called Toad. It's almost called Kissing Kermit. Or Toad Licking. Oh man. Starting to see some colors, man. Starting to see all the colors. See all the colors, man. So anyway, man. Even Ronald Reagan got on the action. Not when he, this wasn't when he was, the old-time actor, see? No, when he was President of the United States of America. But my introduction to these drug things was a little cartoon that aired on ABC back in the 90s, which I came across from YouTube, obviously, known as Cartoon All-Star to the Rescue. And this does technically count for Disneydude, since it has characters such as Huey, Dewey, Louie, Woody the Pooh, and the Muppet Babies in it. Plus characters that would have feature films by Fox, such as Alvin the Chipmunks and Garfield. So, anyway, here's a funny story about this one. The film was actually produced by McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's. In a cartoon special that features a bunch of our favorite cartoon characters coming together to warn people about drugs made by a fast food company. Let's take a look. So, the special begins with, a bunch of sick kids are cheering on a tune, which basically are saying, "All hail the mighty McDonald's." Okay. Then we cut to George and Barbara Bush of all people, and they say, "This is the balance is important. You should not do the drugs and alcohol." But let's face it, you're all sitting here going, where the frick is the actual cartoon part of Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue? Well, it goes on right after this. So the actual cartoon opens in every suburban neighborhood ever, when we get to a little girl's room where her piggy bank is being stolen by someone. And then suddenly a Smurfs comic comes to life, and the characters inside notice that the piggy bank outside of the comic is missing. So Papa Smurf rings a bell, warning the other Smurfs of the village that the bank was stolen. Then suddenly a picture of Alf, for some reason, comes to life. I know that Alf had a cartoon show, but that's not what he's known for. He's known for his sitcom. So, I don't really understand why he's even here. So yeah, he talks to a Garfield lamp, which it should have been a Garfield phone, to get the bank back. And of course, since Garfield's a cat, Alf decides to wants to eat him if Garfield doesn't commit. Then some Alvin and the Chipmunks records come to life, and Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal comes to life, and a baby Kermit clock comes to life. And out of nowhere, Slimer from the real Ghostbusters shows up. I repeat, out of nowhere, Slimer from Ghostbusters shows up. So it turns out that it was the little girl's brother who stole the bank. And he planned to use that money for what else? Drugs, as explained by Simon.
Marijuana. You all know how much I love marijuana. Besides, I had to use it again once our movie came out.
So all of our favorite cartoon characters, although the majority of them weren't originally cartoon characters, I mean, seriously, the Smurfs and Garfield were from comics, Alpha came from a sitcom, Winnie the Pooh came from a book, Kermit came from a puppet, and Slimer came from a live-action comedy. The only ones here that were originally cartoon characters were Alvin and the Chipmunks. But then again, they technically weren't since they came from a song. They all decide to go help and save the kid named Michael, who has a drug addiction. All except for Pooh, who decides to stay behind for some reason. I don't know. So it turns out that this puff of smoke is making Michael do the drug. So, this guy's supposed to be the villain? Gotta say, I kind of want what he's smoking. But it turns out that the cop is about to catch him, but it turns out that the cop is actually Bugs Bunny. Wow, what a twist.
You were running from a rabbit? He's a cartoon.
So are you.
Look who's talking!
Did Bugs Bunny just steal my joke? Oh my god. This movie just stole my joke, but it stole my joke 28 years before I said it. My god.
What's this? A joint?
No, Dad, you shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Yeah. You should hand that over to me. What, are you gonna use it? I'm not gonna do anything with this stack. You saw nothing. So, Bugs tries to get this guy off of drugs by sending him back to the past with an Acme time machine. Because Acme makes time machines, too. And also, how is that kid supposed to know that that was a time machine? It could easily have just been like, I don't know, a portal to another dimension, or a random machine that could suddenly give you off drugs, or I don't know, somewhere to like where the cartoon characters live, because it must exist. So we cut back to the house, but there's really nothing to say. The only thing to say is that Michael's dad looks kind of gay, and that Pooh comes to life around the little girl, for some reason. So Bugs takes Michael back to the past to where he first started doing drugs. Where's a picture with the first letter of their name on their shirt? That's just stupid. No wonder he gets picked on. So Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles takes Michael down to the sewer. Michelangelo takes the Michael down to the sewer. Alright, dude, so if you want, you can just give me some of that joint. I mean, I'm already on drugs. I've been on drugs since the 80s. I mean, have you listened to the way I talk? So the Muppet Babies take Michael on a trip inside of his brain to show what drugs can do to them. Because when you think of drug abuse, that's the first thing that you think of are the Muppet Babies. They'll probably have a new episode on the Nick Jr. show where Animal gets addicted to crack. Maybe he's already on crack. My God. So Huey, Dewey, and Louie tell Michael the exact same thing that the other cartoon characters told him. Jesus Christ. I half expect Mr. Makey from South Park to show up by now.
Guess I'm allergic. And a good excuse is something you never outgrow.
That's my complexion.
When you pound say, let's get wrecked.
So yeah, the special ends how you think it would end. Michael gets off the drugs, the villain is defeated, and this was the worst thing that any of these cartoon characters have ever appeared in. Yes, even worse than their live-action movies. So, what have we learned today? McDonald's is God! Oh, hey, the mighty Ronald. Oh, those smiling, having their bosses do not look like the devil. Hamburger is truly the Paul Grimace. You shall follow Donald Trump, Grimace. Follow Donald Trump. Oh, the Big Mac, the McRib, and the McNuggets, and the McLobster. Yes, the McLobster with the real thing. And McCafe, and my God, praise the Szechuan sauce. Praise the Szechuan sauce. So, next week we shall do my first Fox review. And what shall that be? Go Power Rangers! Time for me to get some rest before I get to work on the next episode. What the? Kermit? Who are these people?
Really? It's Bugs Bunny and Boo and Papa. Boo, get back up here! And we are quite cross that you gave a negative review of our drug PSA crossover, especially when I have my new movie coming out. Hey, we should have the modern version of us should be in the sequel. Oh yes, Dak.
So I gave a negative review of your drug PSA. It sucked.
Well, Dak, it doesn't quite matter if you liked it or not. What matters is that you didn't like it. And since you talked trash about it while making fun of it, we're gonna have to. Papa, wake up. Papa!
Oh, I'm sorry, were we doing something? Oh God, why do we even have this guy?
I don't know, but anyway, Dak. So, since you gave a negative review of our drug beer, Papa! Oh. You suck! Since you gave a negative review of our drug PSA, we're gonna have to kill you. Alright?
It's time to die!
God.